So there could be new life for the Hudson's Bay Company, or at least the leases for its mall spaces. BC billionaire developer Ruby Liu announced Friday she signed a deal for 28 leases for the bankrupt retailer. For more on what could be your vision for those spaces, let's go to retail strategist Doug Stevens, founder of Retail Profit. He joins us now. Doug, tell us about Ruby Liu. Who is she? I don't know anything about her.
Yeah, so the backstory on Ruby Liu is that she is an investor in the commercial space. She comes from China. She owned a shopping center in China, which I understand she sold prior to coming to Canada for about $1.2 billion Canadian. And when she came to Canada, she began investing in the shopping center market in British Columbia. She currently owns 3 shopping centers in BC. And you can tell from her shopping centers that she takes a different approach. Whereas a lot of shopping centers are sort of a brand first approach where they push the retailers that are in the center, she is really pushing the cultural events, the food and dining experiences and the other kinds of entertainment that take place at the center. And I think that really taps into her vision for what this future sort of department store could be.
Can you expand a little bit more on that? Because we don't think of department stores as a place of entertainment, for example. And although they might have a restaurant, it's really not something you would go to the department store necessarily for.
No, exactly. And I think, to be very honest with you, that has been the problem with department stores for about the last 30 or 40 years. I mean, at their inception, department stores were sort of the analog version of the internet, right? They were, at the time, the most convenient place to start most shopping trips. Well, in a post-internet world, that is clearly not the case. And most department stores have never really reinvented themselves. They've never really figured out, well, what other reasons could somebody have for getting in their car and driving to a destination like a department store? And I think clearly the answer to that is you need to be able to see something or do something that you can't do on your sofa at home. And it seems like this entertainment or experience first approach is exactly what she has in mind for whatever kind of department store this ends up being.
What's your take on whether any of the traditional Bay elements will be part of this future vision?
Look, I think there are a lot of things that are still very much up in the air. Number one, as it applies to this deal, we're still waiting for court approval on this. That's my understanding. And we're still waiting for landlords to weigh in on this as well, because they had no part in the actual deal. So landlords are going to have to understand what it is that she wants to do and what that looks like, and whether or not that conforms to their expectations and the terms of these leases. That's number one. In terms of using the actual Hudson's Bay brand, well, we know now that that brand has a new owner, and that's Canadian Tire. And I'm sure they have lots of plans for that brand, whether that's products or other kinds of services or alliances. So I think they're going to be very, very careful about what they engage in. That is not to say that they couldn't work something out with Ms. Liu, but I think that they're going to need to be very precious with that brand so that they don't dilute it.
Are you surprised, and we've talked before, about the demise of the department store for good reason? And you mentioned a couple of them. People can go online. They don't really want that experience anymore, the huge store to walk in up and down. Are you surprised in that the vision could be an iteration of a department store?
You know, it's not the most likely candidate, really, for the space. You can think of, potentially lots of other uses for these spaces beyond a department store, which time and time again, whether we're talking about Sears or we're talking about Macy's is clearly having problems in the U.S., JCPenney. I mean, there's a long list of department stores in North America that have been having a tough time. So I on the one hand, I'm a little surprised that someone would make a bet like that. But on the other hand, Morelli, you have to think about it from the standpoint of the gain if she gets it right. if she can potentially reinvent the concept of what a department store is, why people go there, and the fun and enjoyment they get out of it beyond just products.
Yeah. Doug Stevens, I got to leave it there with you, but good to have you on this. Thanks for sharing some of your time today.
Thank you.